The United States, a name synonymous with power, innovation and the pursuit of freedom. But how did a nation forged on the fringes of a vast continent rise to command the global stage? Ours is a story woven into the very fabric of the world's reserve currency, the US dollar. Join us now as we embark on a nostalgic journey through time, tracing the arduous yet remarkable rise of the US dollar empire. It's a tapestry of human stories, of triumphs and failures, of dreams realized and hopes dashed. Through the grainy footage and the somber tones of a nation reflecting, we will rediscover the soul of America. This is the rise of the US dollar empire.
Across a vast ocean, driven by dreams of religious freedom and new beginnings, they came. Families seeking refuge, entrepreneurs chasing fortune. They landed on the shores of a continent teeming with both promise and peril. The first settlements, fragile outposts clinging to the edge of an unknown world, marked the birth of a new society. From the rugged coast of Maine to the sun-drenched plains of Georgia, 13 colonies took root. Each possessed a distinct character, a unique blend of values and aspirations. Yet, they were united by a common thread, a fervent belief in self-determination, a yearning for liberation from the distant grip of the crown. Life was arduous, a constant struggle against the elements, against uncertainty. But amidst the hardships, a spirit of resilience blossomed. Families toiled together, communities supported one another, and a distinct American identity began to emerge. These were not simply colonists, they were pioneers forging a new path, building a new world. Generations passed, and the colonies flourished. The seeds of a nation, sown by those early settlers, were beginning to sprout, reaching for the sky with an almost tangible hunger for autonomy.
The year is 1776. Tension hangs heavy in the air, a suffocating blanket of discontent. In Philadelphia, a group of men gather, their faces etched with the weight of an impossible decision. They are representatives of 13 colonies teetering on the brink of rebellion. Within the hallowed halls of Independence Hall, wordsmiths like Thomas Jefferson wrestled with history. They crafted a document that would become a beacon of hope for generations to come: the Declaration of Independence. It was a radical declaration, a defiant roar against tyranny, proclaiming the inherent rights of man. The words, once penned, echoed far beyond the cobblestone streets of Philadelphia. The signing of the Declaration was not merely an act of defiance, it was a promise, a covenant with destiny. It ignited a firestorm of revolution that swept across the colonies, uniting them in a common cause.
The echoes of cannon fire faded, giving way to the rhythmic clang of machinery. A new era was dawning, the Industrial Revolution, and with it came a period of unprecedented growth and transformation for the United States. From the burgeoning factories of New England to the steel mills of Pittsburgh, a wave of innovation swept across the nation. The invention of the telegraph and the railroad shrank distances, connecting communities and fueling economic expansion. Cities swelled with new arrivals, immigrants seeking opportunity and a chance to build a better life. The American dream, that potent cocktail of hard work and perseverance, seemed within reach for those willing to toil in the nation's factories and fields. But progress, as always, came at a price. The gap between the haves and the have-nots widened.
The year is 1917. Across the Atlantic, the nations of Europe are locked in a brutal conflict, the Great War. The United States, initially hesitant to intervene in a distant conflict, finds itself drawn into the maelstrom. The sinking of the Lusitania, a passenger ship torpedoed by a German U-boat, galvanized public opinion. The Zimmermann telegram, a secret diplomatic cable intercepted by British intelligence, revealed a German plot to entice Mexico into attacking the United States. With a heavy heart, President Woodrow Wilson asked Congress for a declaration of war, proclaiming that the world must be made safe for democracy. American troops, dubbed doughboys, shipped out to the battlefields of Europe, carrying with them the hopes and fears of a nation. The war was a brutal crucible, a mechanized meat grinder that claimed the lives of millions. The Roaring Twenties, a decade of jazz, flappers, and unbridled optimism, came to a crashing halt on October 29, 1929, Black Tuesday. The stock market crashed, wiping out billions of dollars in wealth and plunging the nation into the abyss of the Great Depression. From the breadlines of New York City to the Dust Bowl of the Midwest, despair gripped the nation. Banks failed, businesses shuttered, and millions found themselves unemployed and destitute. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, elected in 1932, promised a new deal for the American people. His administration implemented a series of programs designed to provide relief, recovery, and reform, from the Works Progress Administration, WPA, to the Social Security Act. The New Deal, while not a panacea for all of the nation's ills, provided a much-needed lifeline for millions of Americans. It helped to restore a sense of hope and purpose, reminding people that even in the darkest of times, the American spirit of resilience could overcome adversity. As the 1930s drew to a close, the world watched with growing apprehension as the forces of fascism gained strength in Europe and Asia. Adolf Hitler's Nazi Germany, fueled by a toxic brew of nationalism and hatred, embarked on a campaign of conquest, plunging Europe into another devastating world war. The United States, scarred by the memory of World War I, initially adopted a policy of isolationism. However, the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, shattered any illusions of neutrality. America's entry into the war transformed the conflict into a global struggle against tyranny. From the beaches of Normandy to the jungles of the Pacific, American soldiers, sailors, and airmen fought with courage and determination. The war effort mobilized the entire nation. Factories hummed with activity, producing tanks, planes, and ships at a staggering rate.
The ashes of World War II had barely settled when a new conflict emerged, one that would define the latter half of the 20th century, the Cold War. The United States and the Soviet Union, once allies against fascism, now found themselves locked in an ideological struggle for global dominance. The Cold War was a clash of ideologies: capitalism versus communism, democracy versus authoritarianism. It was a war fought not on traditional battlefields, but through proxy wars, espionage, and a nuclear arms race that threatened to annihilate civilization. The United States emerged as the leader of the free world, providing economic and military aid to countries threatened by Soviet expansionism. The Marshall Plan, a massive economic recovery program, helped to rebuild war-torn Europe and contain the spread of communism. The fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 and the subsequent collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 marked the end of the Cold War and the triumph of democracy and capitalism.
We've journeyed from humble colonial settlements to the heights of global power, bearing witness to the evolution of a nation. The story of the United States, inextricably intertwined with the ascent of the US dollar, is a testament to the human spirit. Its capacity for innovation, its unwavering pursuit of liberty, and its enduring ability to overcome adversity. Through the lens of nostalgia, we've unearthed not just historical facts, but the very essence of the American spirit. It's a spirit forged in revolution, tempered by hardship, and ultimately emboldened by the relentless pursuit of a more perfect union. It reminds us that the echoes of the past resonate deeply in the present, shaping the contours of our future. As we conclude our journey, let us carry forward the lessons learned, embracing the spirit of innovation and the unwavering belief in human potential that has come to define the United States. For in understanding our past, we unlock the potential of our present and illuminate the path toward a brighter, more prosperous future.